Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today's video is just going to be a quick introduction into who I am and where I've started. Also what you can expect if you do decide to stay on this channel and follow along with this journey. So I started my photography journey probably around 5-6 years ago. A little bit before that, when I started off with the Canon series cameras, the DSLR cameras, started with the 1000D and then moved on to the 77D later on, as I moved into the city to work on my developer career. But I still went and tried to go at least once a month in order to go do some birding and go explore nature, wildlife, because I wanted to get out there and I wanted to document everything that I'm doing. Now, the 77D is an absolutely fantastic camera. This is not a video to say that is a bad camera. It is definitely not. It is still by far one of my favorite cameras to use. The video quality on it is actually fantastic. The 77D does have some drawbacks, which I'm not going to go into too many details, but the camera struggled with its autofocus and its balancing when it comes to nature photography. Any fast moving thing, it was quite a challenge. Now, in the recent years, I also went with a couple of mates of mine to Kenya. They had one of the mirrorless cameras, which really opened my eyes as to how much the technology have improved from where I was. This started making me think about upgrading my camera gear into one of the mirrorless series, and this was probably one of the best decisions I've made. I was looking at two choices at the time. One was the R10, and the other was the R7. Now, a friend of mine does have the R7, so he highly recommended it. I saw his photos and I was in love. I decided, let me try this camera out. So I upgraded to the R7, and what a fantastic choice this was. So here's some of my recent shots. I've had the camera now for a year. I've paired it with the 100-400mm f5.6 lens, as you can see in the B-roll. This is an absolute game changer for me. This lens in essence created the most cinematic experiences for me. The camera upgrade probably was one of the biggest changes for me. This camera upgrade was by far one of the things that I could see made me excited to go out again. I could finally document the birds that I'm seeing again with the 100-400. I decided on the R7 because the R7 has an APS-C sensor. It is a crop factor sensor, so I get a little bit more range, quote unquote, from the lenses that I have when I do take my wildlife photos, which allowed me to explore nature. Now, when I had the 77D, the camera used to feel a little bit more restrictive, and it made me lose, not interest, it made me lose the enthusiasm I had to go out and document my field trips and go out with these. Whereas the R7 just reignited that whole experience and pushing me to go out more. Now, I know not everybody can increase their gear, but it certainly did make a change for me. But the one thing I noticed after a year of photographing and videography with the R7 was the thing that really increased my photos and videos wasn't the expensive high tech that I all of a sudden had. It was actually consistency. The R7 opened up a whole new world for me. The viewfinder being an electronic viewfinder, so all of a sudden your ISOs and your shutter speeds are visually shown. You can see what your light balance is going to be. You can see what photos you're going to get. With the 7D, I often found out that only afterwards, or when I look at my photo, that it was overexposed or underexposed, which means the shot was lost. With the R7, you can adjust it and you can see it in your viewfinder immediately what it's going to be. With my 77, I would get back and I would have maybe, out of a full day session, maybe 10 photos that I would like. Not happy with all 10, but 10 that I could keep. Whereas when I went with the R7, I now have sequences of images that I can keep. Sequences that I'm proud of. Like this kingfisher shot that I recently took in Pilansberg. It is really amazing what the R7 brings to the table. It brought extremely high level eye tracking on the animals, so object detection. It is incredibly good. It made it sort of a lot more of my photos were tack sharp, and that I was really happy with this. This made me go out more and more and more, and that consistency is what actually led to my photos increasing. So for me, it reignited my birding. I can now have a little LBJ, little brown job like this, And these images I can now go and identify when I'm back. As a person who used to love going out into the field, previously I was a ranger / guide in South Africa, and I still live in South Africa. This just reignites that, where I can actually identify the species that I find. I can look more for composition shots rather than just an ID shot of a species. It really opened up and looked at everything. It made me realize that it wasn't the expensive gear that made me a better photographer. It was the consistency within it that made it. And I would say the love for nature is probably the main reason people can stay with this channel. So the topics that I will cover future in this channel is, so it's bird photography, wildlife photography in general, also a little bit of macro photography. As a ranger / guide, I specialized in scorpions and reptiles, so I would really bring that into it as well. Currently it's winter in South Africa, if you're watching this right in 2026, so it is just an amazing opportunity to get all of this set up and get going. I am happy to share the stories that I've had. I have some really crazy stories from my ranger work that I'm going to share with you, some friend stories, because all of us share our stories that we have, and then also just in general the things that we have experienced. Stay along, I'm also a developer in programming, so with this I also want to enhance the experience I have and that you will have. I want to develop programs to help me catalog the species that we've seen, to take you on a journey through South African bushvelds, to show you the magnificent creatures there is above just your normal plains game, above the zebras, the blue wildebeest, the elephants. There's so much more South Africa has to offer, and if you stay with me, you'll see those. The idea is to show you these, but also develop and problem solve unique challenges along the way. As a developer, we'll create little programs that help us catalog our species better, to help us track which species we have 5-star photos of and which species I would really like to get another shot of. That is what this channel is all about. Stay along and, well, enjoy.